Somebody forgot to plug in the back. We had music lesson and music training crazy. So we can't hear you though, so I assume you're saying that this is Fox. And Well, she's actually just, well, there we go, she's got marijuana.
But ghost on the screen behind him.
White shirt's just like a ghost on the screen.
Yeah, you're like glowing. There's
Bad
like,
choice of clothing.
yeah.
You can bring me one of my Opus Live shirts from in the back there. I'll throw that on.
We can mute him slightly.
Right, there we go. That'll work.
But you were talking about...
We'll fix all of that in a hurry. Look
you
at
did
that.
that countdown, and all I could think of is, oh God, I have to shop for Christmas.
All right, why don't you tell us what's going on, and I'll go do a wardrobe change.
Okay, you go do a wardrobe change. So let me see, where are we? I have to go back now, because it's not week. Yeah, it's week 33, 37 of the year. He's going on about New Year's Eve, and all I can think of is that I got to go Christmas shopping. This Tuesday, tomorrow, is the screening of The Culture High at the Varsity Cinema, and that is the sequel to The Union, if you guys have seen that. Kind of an epic documentary about the business of marijuana, where the money goes and how it's spent, both on prohibition and the black market of marijuana. Chris?
I'll be at that screening tomorrow.
Yeah, do you know anything about that? I know Myrna has asked me to promote it, but I'm not exactly sure how, because I tried to look it up through the theater and couldn't find any information about that. Do you know anything about passes for that?
All I know is I had private messages to me sending me the link. I can look it up. One sec. But you can talk. I won't. I
sent an email requesting passes.
Yeah,
but I
sent you that email.
Yes,
so.
perfect. All right. It was
so
you
if you have that, let us.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure, because I know that they were looking for a packed house, so I wasn't sure how promoted it was supposed to be.
We can promote it.
All right.
What are we promoting?
Varsity Theater tomorrow, 4:20 p.m.
Yeah.
Get there early.
Get there early. There will be a
That's
showing of The Culture High, the sequel to The Union. There's 18 days to the Prairie Medicinal Harvest Cup in Saskatoon. I am looking very forward to that.
Is this better now?
Yes, much better. You're not glowing as much on the back screen.
All right, I'll come over here. All right, what else is going on? We're gonna get more details soon. I have it on good authority about the Karma Cup that's coming up on November 8th, and that's gonna be.
Kind of looks like you have a turtleneck now. I don't know.
Yeah.
The two shirts were.
I'm wearing two shirts. Well, there you go. So I'm wearing a turtleneck. It's like formal wear. This is Vancouver Island wedding attire.
It is actually.
It is. It truly is.
Or like a stoner priest.
Stoner priest.
With the white collar thingy.
Yeah, that's me.
That's it. Next stoner wedding.
If you
wedding will be.
I'll be happy to be there for the christening of your first child.
Ordained by Opus. Yes. Ordained by Opus. That's there's new business. That'll be it.
I'm going to start my own church. I hear there's good money in that. That's it. I was looking for a job. Maybe I'll just start my own church.
A lot of tax breaks.
A lot of good. Yeah, that's what I hear. Lots of
people to do things for you, apparently. Just
Hey, on today's show, we're gonna we have a new segment we're gonna come up with later, and it's called Ginger Snaps, and we'll have more about that. We'll let your imagination run wild with that for now. What else is going on? Yes, of course, there's cops are still hurting people at random. We got a story on that. Good news. The Conservatives now trail the Liberals and the NDP in a recent poll. That's kind of glad to hear that. What else? We got a story on Dean Del Mastro, the guilty son of a bitch. And what else? In Berkley, California, they're voted to give out free medical marijuana to low-income people. Hooray! We need more news like that in Canada.
Yay.
And yes, we will have we are covering the demise of MediJean. Yes, it's over before it even started.
Oh, it imploded.
This is just, it blew up all over Twitter. This is a good one. It was like, there was a Twitter war before it was even in the lamestream media. That was hilarious. These guys went ape shit.
The Twitter store made it to mainstream media.
Yeah, that's what the story was about, the Twitter storm. It was funny. We don't have the Quotable Stoner because I didn't look up any Quotable Stoner, whatever.
If we
moments.
need quotable stoners, I will use my phone and find us some quotable stoner.
Thank you so much,
Oh,
sir.
coffee
Much
dude.
appreciated. Yeah, you're covered now for being a coffee bitch.
Yay, coffee bitch.
You don't have to pay.
We say it with love. We really do.
Yeah, I'm covering Kevy, coffee bitch.
And
You could be the regular coffee bitch if you want, Kevin. I mean, the job is open. Yeah, okay.
Perfect. Yeah, we need to start because we've actually talked about this for a while, is we actually need to do a coffee segment on the show.
Yeah,
And so we actually need someone that actually wants to do coffee regularly.
We're looking for a regular coffee person.
For
True.
maybe some fun airtime.
What else is going on? Oh yeah, we got a story on the lounge that we were talking about that opened up in Halifax was recently busted.
Yep, Chris Ennis is in jail.
Yeah, and as well, I guess it wasn't very hard. The cops also went to somebody's house and arrested more people and
A few other houses.
Found more cannabis and and piles of money, and then they actually were able to go and find the grow house where I guess they were producing all the meds. So, anyways, they got busted. We got the story on that. The Marc Emery signed Volcano auction is still on, folks, and I got a little bit of a minor explanation. Things have changed, and the bid is actually at $550 now.
Yikes.
What happened was the person who had bid $600, they got a hold of me, and were like really concerned and hoping someone would outbid them because they lost their job.
Oh, that sucks, man.
And so I gave them the opportunity to withdraw their bid and go to the last highest bidder, which was $550. And so he accepted that and offered to cover the extra $50 so that we still have a $600 donation and a bid riding on the Volcano, the signed Marc Emery Volcano and box. So we're still got our $600, but actually I'm going to put the bid is $550 if somebody wants to outbid that. So he's just going to kick in the extra is what I'm getting at.
All right. So
we're going to leave call the bid $550. If somebody wants to bid $600, these guys are both out.
We haven't even really started to promo this Volcano yet, guys. So if you want to get your bid in, I suggest you do it, because we're going to start promoting it, and then, yeah.
I'm going to another network, yes.
Yes.
Soon. Just to do the promos, that's all.
Watch the
not
promos.
to do shows. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to be moonlighting, Chris. All right, so that's the explanation. Also, I'm very happy to announce that now Opus Live is the lead-in show to Monday Night Football. Although they don't know it yet, but I'm working on it. So I keep hashtagging MNF, Monday Night Football, along with Opus Live, and we'll see if we can't get some whole bunch of more stoner stuff going on at the NFL
So
level.
any of you football fans that are now watching the pre-show, welcome to Opus Live.
Yeah, hey, welcome to the show, and I hope you're getting ready for tonight's big showdown.
Against Colorado, right?
No, it's actually, I was wrong. It's the New York Giants at Detroit Lions, and then later at San Diego at Arizona. So, yeah, that's what's going on there. Now I've done my obligation about Monday Night Football.
There you go.
Did you hear the big football news today that running back Rice punched out his wife in the elevator?
Yeah, and he only got 2 game suspension.
No, new video just came out today. You want to see it?
No, I don't. I don't. I kind of don't. I don't really want to promote the showing of that because apparently it doesn't. It's violence, right? It's just sensationalism about, the fact that he only got a two game suspension is kind of gross.
No, he got a 2 game suspension before this video came out. The fact that it came out today.
To say that they didn't know that was coming out and they were just doing damage control is kind of bullshit, Chris.
Well, he's been suspended now from the league and fired and everything else.
Okay, good.
But,
I didn't realize because I was like, no, like they knew that was coming. That was trying to do damage control before the video got released.
But yeah, it's horrible how he treated his wife, of course.
Oh yeah, it was,
and I mean the fact that
very,
you know,
very bad, sad.
you know, you test positive for marijuana, you get, you know, seriously punished. You domestic violence, it was a 2-game suspension. That was ridiculous. You know, so I don't want to really promote the showing of the video because it's just kind of like it's brutal, from what I hear, and I just kind of like.
Well, surprisingly enough, now I've recently seen a few stories on Alternet, mostly, that have talked about. There's been more people coming out in all sports, actually, talking about how they should start allowing marijuana in sports, that it's not detrimental, and
Well, yeah.
you know what it is I see in all aspects when you talk about weed, whether it's like with kids or it's sports or something, in getting into another area. What I seem to notice now is, but with the normalization, with recreational legalization, the stigmas are falling away. And again, like with sports, it starts to fall away. I mean, look at Rob Liatti when he was tested positive in the Olympics after winning gold.
Yeah.
You know, it was hard. I mean, people were joking like, "Oh, so smoking weed makes you better, performance enhancing
Well, it was
drug."
all that
and,
joke.
you
It's like,
know.
why are they banning weed? It's not like it's a performance enhancing drug.
Well,
Like,
how did this guy get a gold medal? So it was
Yeah.
like at at odds, an oxymoron. They were at odds with it, and it was interesting to note. So now, there's people actually, you know, have done an about face. Like what's his name? The doctor Gupta.
Yeah.
You know, again, you know, 180 degrees. At first he was anti-pot, now he's all pro-pot.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I mean,
everybody's
and I'm sure-
doing an about
And
face.
I'm sure there are people like, well, hey, wait, you know, what about this video? And you know, they want to kind of see it. But it's kind of weird when it makes a news story when it's celebrity, because it all of a sudden starts to kind of almost sensationalize that domestic violence. It seems kind of weird to me. So
I don't think any of what you're saying is true, by the
Well,
way.
no,
but that's
no,
okay.
no. But no. You don't have to agree with me. Like, it just kind of like, but when it's celebrities.
We'll play it during the CK podcast.
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever.
cool. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
just-
it'll come
I
up
just
later.
find it interesting when it's celebrities that it's all of a sudden this different kind of attention is played to it.
I don't think it's any different.
Okay.
Like, if a video like this goes up of 2 regular people, Reddit and 4chan and all that are all over it. Who is this guy? And they find out who he is, and hackers find out his address and everything else, and the guy gets stalked or something will happen to him for sure. But I don't think it's acceptable, which is...
No. But
I don't know.
it's just kind of like, I kind of think of like, you know, how horrible it is that it happened to her, but then now it's all over YouTube and people are watching it. But it also shames the victim as well, right? Like it's you know, I can't imagine her actually seeing the video of it happening, you know, her actually watching it or her family members watching it. You know, how horrible that must be to see. So it's, you know, just kind of, you know, whatever.
All right,
But we'll move on.
let's. Okay.
I
sure,
just,
go
the
ahead.
last thought was that she was his fiance at the time of this happened, and it went to court, and the reason it didn't continue further was because she dropped all the charges and refused to testify.
And then
and
married
now
him.
she's married to him, so she's his wife, so she's like a co-conspirator on the whole thing.
An enabler is what it becomes.
But, like, the video brings all the truth to light.
Sure. All right. Well, you know what? I think you should play the vid. Maybe let's just play it.
All right.
Put it up, Chris. And rather than go through this, let's just put it up, and everybody can make their own judgment.
Well, it is horrible, and it is graphic, and yeah.
You don't have to play all of it. Just we can get the basic here.
Yeah, it all happens very fast. Clearly, they're already fighting.
Yeah. She gives him a whack.
A lot of people talk about that, and she gives him an elbow in the elevator before it all starts. Again, not to judge it. or
No,
anything.
no, of course. Not to say that that's deserving at all.
So right there.
Hey, Maddie, how are you?
I remember when I think Tracy Morgan got in his car accident recently, and there was some like 5-10 feet away roadside cell phone footage of it, and how outraged all the performers were and all the things, like, don't show it, and getting angry at TMZ for not showing it. And these are the same people that, you know, hypocritically the next day would be telling the joke. If it were somebody else, they would be telling a joke about it. So I think that these things belong on the air. I think that they're only going to make people see and learn from it. And anytime anything happens and you try to put the video and hide it.
You were laughing at the people laughing. So what were the people laughing at?
They were probably laughing at the fact that she went to punch him and he just punched her right back. He defended himself, and it's not usual. Normally, 9 times out of 10, you'd see the girl start slapping him, have a little slap fit on him, and the guy would stand there with his hands up, protecting himself. But, every once in a while, the guy will just clock her back. And you don't see it so much, just like seeing a drunk person fall down and hit their head. If it happens to you, you hate it if people laugh, but people laugh when that shit happens.
One of the things that I always have to ask is I wonder how much alcohol is involved. Because
it is a mitigating factor in
No.
aggressive
I'm not
encounters.
saying it's because it's. Trust me, it's not an excuse by any means. But understanding that alcohol, unlike most other drugs, the first thing alcohol impairs is your judgment, and so people will sometimes quickly snap. More so if they've had a few drinks, you like to say reactionary boom clock, as opposed to no alcohol. You're able to be more in control of yourself, but your judgment's out the window on booze. That's all I'm merely pointing out. And they never mention, and everybody when they mention it, like reactions are, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, no, that's not what I was referring to. I'm trying to point out how if there was alcohol involved, how that's the gateway drug to violence. That's all I really want to mention. That's it.
I just find it as that's just the excuse they use.
It's by no means. I like the fact. I applauded the fact in Canada when they took alcohol as an excuse for any kind of criminal behavior out of the criminal code. That was awesome. I love that now.
Yeah, we also watched that video a few months back with Jay-Z getting assaulted by his sister-in-law, and that was the opposite, where the man was getting attacked and she was being very violent, and he handled it in a different way, where he was just defensive, where he held her off and he didn't hit her back. So I think that everyone's pretty happy that this football player has now kind of destroyed his career over this.
Yeah, but
it's what I find though is
funny.
Michael Vick and his abuse of dogs got more publicity, and people got more outraged than they did over this guy. And that's kind of what I also find a sad reflection on society.
He lied about it to the commissioner and promised he didn't do it.
I'm a bit more upset about the dog violence too. The dog violence is really bad, but they're both bad.
Yeah. I don't think this guy will come back like Vic did. Vic came back to be a superstar. This guy's not. This guy's.
Oh no, he's not coming back from this. No.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's go on to look at the time. It's 7:20.
Happy 420.
Happy 420 BC. Yo. So, hey, everybody, hit a bong right now or have a smoke. It's bong along with BC time.
And, Maple Ridge and all those lovely places we love in the
all I can hear out there is bags getting inhaled. It's wonderful. All right, on BC Medical Marijuana Company implodes on Twitter. And our good friend Dana Larson, who's the director for the Sensible BC campaign for marijuana reform, and also the man who founded the Vancouver Medicinal Cannabis Dispensary that I'm proudly a member of.
Oh, I said this to you as this was unfolding.
Oh, yeah. So basically, exactly this is what happened. Tracy did send this to me as it was happening. It was coming in fast and furious. I started following this guy immediately on Twitter, too, as soon as I was
The guy claims that his account was hacked.
Yeah.
Just as a...
Yeah, that's part of the story. We'll get to
that's
that.
Jean Chisson. began tweet attacking his business partners, accusing their breeder of theft and threatening to sue Health Canada and the RCMP. The next day, he deleted all of those tweets and claimed his account had been hacked, even as he confirmed the post's basic accuracy. So even if his account was hacked, he's saying that, though, that these things are fairly accurate.
It's all true, but I didn't write it.
Yeah. And then he says, MediJean is one of the many companies that are waiting for Health Canada to approve their application to become a licensed producer. Right now, they for a while now have had a research and development permit, basically.
Yeah.
So
They're the only ones that have actually got a R&D license. Yeah.
They have been in the media several times. They've been showing off. They have a large facility in Richmond, which they received the city's approval for back in March. Media reports say that Chison, who is the Jean in MediJean, had invested 10 mil into the company, and they have at least 35 staff members on the payroll. And of course, since they don't yet have a Health Canada license, they have not sold any actual marijuana and have been growing only for research purposes. So yes, on Wednesday, Chison's Twitter account began posting attacks against his partners Anton MediJean, Chief Strategy Officer, and Chris Dollar, Chief Operating Officer. Anton talks bullshit, knows nothing of medical marijuana, says one tweet. Chris Dollard knows nothing of medical marijuana or the business of medical marijuana. Before this year, he was just a user, says another.
Chison went further in his tweets about Charles Scott. Now remember this.
Yeah, there'll be a lot more about Charles Scott.
There'll be a lot more about this.
Remember that name.
MediJean's Director of Research and Development described on the MediJean's website as a recognized expert in the field of cannabis genetics. Scott is known as the owner of Reeferman Seeds, one of many Canadian seed companies operating in a legal gray zone, and has his name and photo displayed on the Reeferman website. Chison's tweet accused Scott of being a liar, thief, and a bullshit artist. Chison also tweeted that Scott wrote false anonymous letters to Health Canada and the RCMP to interfere with MediJean's license application. So he's actually accusing Charles Scott of fucking with their application by sending in anonymous letters to Health Canada. Chison tweeted that Scott had done this because he used my company and stole hundreds of thousands of seeds. Another tweet said Charles Scott raped and pillaged us. Chison also tweeted that he would be taking lucrative action against Health Canada and the RCMP.
Legal action.
Yeah. Sorry. Well, lucrative action, legal action. He claimed that the RCMP used fabricated information, and Health Canada is stuck in the mud.
Well, there's no question that they are stuck in the mud, but yeah.
So.
Health Canada is, yes.
Yeah. So they're claiming it's an account hack. Dana spoke with Chison by phone, and he told Dana that his Twitter account had been hacked. He told Dana that he now had regained control and deleted the tweets. However, Chison also said that he also agreed that with most of what the tweet said. He repeated his claim that Charles Scott had sent letters to the RCMP and Health Canada in an effort to sabotage their license application, and that Scott had abused the company and stolen seeds. Chison also confirmed that he, Charles Scott, Anton MediJean, and Chris Dollard were all leaving the company. So they're all, I guess, fired, have to get out. I don't know how exactly.
They're dissolving, I guess.
I find it hard to believe that Chison's claim that his account was, Dana says this, found it hard to believe that his account had been hacked since he confirmed the essential content of all the suggested hacks. And the timing of the hack seems to coincide, to be coincidental. Chison claims that must have been an insider at the company who hacked his account, and that he is working out to find out who it was.
Yeah. MediJean generated controversy among the medical cannabis community, by the way, just so you all know, last year when they announced their support for raids against home medical growers and cannabis dispensaries, and said they planned on putting some of their profits into funding the anti-cannabis DARE campaign. So that's and these are also the same people, by the way, that had the that article that was sort of written, that kiss-ass article. Yeah, my ass is still sore. But
yeah.
from they talked about that Tracy, myself, and a bunch of Anonymous,
That we
and
are
a bunch
all
of other people.
stoner social marketing geniuses.
Top 10 medical marijuana tweeters you have to follow. And like a biggest suckhole article.
Yep.
It looked like it was like a mainstream media article, but you won't find it like in the Ottawa Citizen
Listen,
or the Toronto
part
Star.
of that $10 million MediJean spent was certainly in marketing.
Oh yeah, so they basically just went on social media, stole a bunch of our shit, which was, they can do that, and then had somebody write an article that made it look like, oh, this was like media, and we're all supportive of MediJean, when actually my first thing was, do they ever actually read any of my tweets? Because that's the one company I've been saying is one of the worst.
What kind of got me is that they did read my tweets, and one of my most sarcastic tweets they published, I was like, wow, okay.
These guys, I tell you. Well, anyway, so there you go. Another one bites the dust. They never even got an LP approval, and yet here they go. Boom. They're out of the business.
Yeah.
Take that shit off of there. We don't want to see MediJean. Goodbye. Were those the same guys that were advertising on the floor of...
No, that was Canamed.
That was Canamed, yeah, on the airport in Montreal. Yeah.
Okay, so
all right.
We're going to move over. This is going to be like a new segment.
Occasionally we're going to allow a ginger snap. Tracy's a ginger, if you haven't noticed. And sometimes she snaps. Anyways, go ahead, Tracy. Give us your snap.
Well, kind of like it. Every once in a while we'll have stoner etiquette, but it's hard to do that every week. We can't bake every week, so we'll be switching some stuff up. So this is the new one, ginger snaps. You guys might have noticed I snapped a little bit last week about some kids and their meds. So I just want to give a little bit of an update on my snap last week. It seems the bitchy stoner gets the weed and the high CBD oil, as the case may be. The children of need mentioned in last week's segment received their meds last Friday. So thank you for stepping it up and taking care of business as you had promised, and therefore I don't have to snap on anybody about that anymore this week.
Better late than never.
So now I've got a new one. No, actually, it should never be late. Parents should never have to ask or wait. Keep your shit together, people.
Hey, some people never get their shit, so I guess that's all.
Yeah, well, they got it. Yay. Moving on. All right. So this is kind of related back to the MediJean story, so I'm going to snap a little bit on this one. I'm getting a little pissed off because something that's not mentioned in the Huffington Post article and was mentioned on the tweets and has never been mentioned by anybody else, but I've mentioned it on the show, is Charles Scott, Reefer Man Seeds, Research and Development Director at MediJean, has white supremacist, KKK, Aryan Nation ties. It was actually in the Twitter feed. Jean Chasson's hacked Twitter feed said, like, oh, we found out that Charles Scott was, a KKK member, Aryan Nation. And I actually tweeted back, hey, you either knew and didn't say anything until he screwed you, or you didn't Google your director of R&D. Either way, you're a douchebag. So Jean Chasson, whatever, try to claim it now. Fuck you. You should have you knew the whole time, or you just didn't bother doing your research. And I'm kind of getting a little upset that nobody's talking about this. So Chris, I don't know if you have the video, but so people don't think that I'm just talking bullshit, and I'm wondering why people aren't talking about this. This was easy to find on Google, to find out about Charles Scott, dude, Reefer Man Seeds.
Yeah, you got the links up there if you want to run that vid, Chris, anytime, please. Thank you.
Which one? What's it?
It just says Ginger Snaps. It's the one at the very bottom.
Yeah,
Ginger
white
Snaps.
supremacist Charles Scott, Ginger Snaps, YouTube. It's on the bottom of the links.
Well, here that is.
There it is.
Canada Post employees here in the Okanagan have a particular reason to be cautious following police warnings about mail bombs. The RCMP this week warned that a small extremist group from Vancouver is suspected in 4 recent mail bomb attacks across the country. White supremacist Charles Scott received one of those packages when he lived in the Fraser Valley. Now he's living in Kelowna. Brent Stafford has more.
Normally, their job isn't very hazardous. But now that white supremacist Charles Scott has moved to Kelowna, their lives may be in danger. Scott has been targeted by a group calling itself the Anti-Fascist Militia. The group has already sent one bomb to Scott while he was living in the Fraser Valley. And if they try again, the next bomb may be handled by postal workers here in Kelowna.
We have held meetings with all of our employees, and we've put them through a training session on what they should be looking for as far as suspicious items.
Well, there's a little worry that he's here.
Canada Post employees have good reason to worry. The RCMP say the bombs were made to do one thing only, and that is to kill the person that opens them.
If the best that they could do was that parcel bomb, then I'm in pretty good shape.
We reached Charles Scott today at a national meeting of white supremacists in Hayden Lake, Idaho. We asked him if he's concerned about Canada Post employees getting hurt by a bomb targeted for him. What do you say to them now that you've moved to Kelowna? And
I suggest that they call their member of parliament, and that they call their local RCMP, and that they pick up the telephone and look in the blue pages and call the Canadian Security Intelligence Service and suggest that they get off their fat tufts and find out who the hell is mailing bombs to Canadian right-wingers.
So you don't have any concern then for those workers?
Oh, certainly I do. I have concern for their safety. But the bottom line is that it's not me who is mailing bombs, nor is it me who should be held responsible if one of those postal workers were to get blown up.
But it's Scott's outspoken views that have created the danger for Kelowna postal workers.
How does that make you feel that he's moved to the area and increased the risk?
Well, nobody ever likes to have anything like that come into their area, but I think what they're doing with us is schooling us in a way as to there is a possible threat and to be, to be aware of the things to look for.
There is no imminent danger that we're aware of at the present time. The Kelowna area has not been a receiver of one, and we know of nothing at this point that says that it will be.
But even Charles Scott says he wouldn't be surprised if there was another attempt to kill him. And that means postal workers here will be wondering if that package they are holding may take their life. In Kelowna, Brent Stafford, CHBC News.
All right, well...
Charles Scott also says there was...
basically, from what Tracy had pointed out, you'll notice that Charles never once denies that he's a white supremacist.
No, he was at a conference for white supremacists.
He's just, it's all about the bomb issue. So that's confirmation of this person's background and what he's about, and, anyhow.
So I'm fucking disturbed that nobody's talking about this. Like, that this didn't make the Huffington Post article, that it's been hushed, and I don't know why, and so... fuck you guys. Like, tell the whole story.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. We like to get to the bottom of things here at Vapor Central and on our live stream show. And here at Opus Live, we don't fuck around. We got the full story.
So in this whole, how full of shit is the ginger? There you go.
All right. Well, thank you for that ginger snap.
Yeah.
All right. We got another story for you here. This one's great. Good news. This is actually came out on September 3rd, and the Conservatives now trail behind the Liberals and the NDP in the Nanos Power Index. And there's the numbers up there. Chris has got them up to show you, which I think is awesome, awesome. Look at that, eh? That's just absolutely staggering. Woo! Yeah. All right. People back there are clapping. I like to hear that. That's awesome. Why don't you go ahead and lead into the story there, Tracy, please?
And in all categories, even the NDP is second too. So it's interesting.
When all this more important, yeah, I'm sorry about that. It's okay. Don't worry. So exactly. This is why we always talk about voting. This is where it's going. People get interested. People get excited. They pay attention, and they get out and they go to the polls. And hopefully they'll get out and vote next year.
The federal Conservatives are trailing behind the NDP and Liberals in the latest news. Yeah, that's blah, 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 blah. Let me see. Where am I?
You're at, no, that's what you're reading.
All right.
Yep, that's it.
41% of Canadians are saying they would consider voting for the Tories in 2015. According to the weekly Nanos Power Index, 57% of Canadians would consider voting for the Liberals, 44% would consider voting for the NDP, and 41% would consider voting for the Conservatives. Another 26% that said they would consider voting for the Green Party. The Liberals have hit a new 12-month high when it comes to the so-called accessible voters. Leader Justin Trudeau is also riding a wave of popularity with 34% of those surveyed saying he is their preferred choice for Canada's next Prime Minister. So we're getting there, people.
Yep.
Prime Minister Stephen Harper is trailing behind with 28% of the vote, while opposition leader Thomas Mulcair is at 15%.
So this basically tells us that the Liberals got votes or potential support that they can burn, because they can burn 17 points and still hypothetically form a majority government. This is what pollster Nick Nanos told CTV's Power Play on Wednesday. However, and there's always a however, when Canadians were asked whether each party leader had the qualities of a good political leader, Harper's score rose from 50% at the beginning of August to 55%, while Trudeau's score rose from 52% to 57% over the same time period. Trudeau comes out of the summer hitting a 12-month high, like Tracy was pointing out, adding that there has been no traction for the Conservatives coming out of the summer. They also noted that support for the Tories seems to be dropping among men, which is unusual, very unusual, they also reported. The latest Nanos data is based on random phone interviews with 1,000 Canadians using 4-week rolling average of 250 respondents each week. And this survey is accurate within 3.1 percentage points, 19 times out of 20. There's a video up there if you can roll that, Chris. What do you think? Or is that it? Yeah, there it is. It'll come up here. This is a short. Oh, look, it's the commercial part.
Commercial, yeah.
Yeah, they always have to give it that.
Sorry, yeah, I was like, I thought the video was
Lines to go or something.
For the script.
Don't worry.
I think
We're all
that's
good.
yeah.
Lines to go.
Yeah.
You don't want your neighbors watching you smoke pot.
But again, like these polls are one thing, but if people don't get out and go to the polls and actually exercise votes, this is where things get all fucked up.
Yeah.
Welcome back. While his polling numbers can be scarily accurate, even in an age when many pollsters are egg-faced the day after a surprising election result, we're pleased to announce that Nick Nanos has signed on to be CTV's number cruncher until after the 2015 election. He joins us to discuss his first batch of Power Play numbers. Welcome back. Took you long enough, you know?
No, I figure it out eventually. Don't worry.
You saw the light, finally. Glad to have you back. All right, let's quickly get the latest numbers. Some interesting ones on the parties first. What have you been finding out? It looks like those Liberals are digging in. They're not just a fluke one-off and over and out.
Exactly. So we are tracking every week. We have a 4-week rolling average of 1,000 Canadians done by a random telephone survey. We ask a whole bunch of questions, a basket of goods. 2 things that I want to focus on today in terms of the federal political scene is what I'll say, would Canadians consider or not consider voting for each of the federal political parties? This is kind of like who's on the menu and who's off the menu. And when we look at those numbers on our first board, you can see the Liberals are at a high. 57% of Canadians would consider voting for the Liberals. Their low is 47%. You look at the NDP, significantly behind, 44 points. Conservatives, only 41%, or 4 out of every 10 Canadians would consider voting Conservatives. Greens at 26%. So what does this tell us? A lot of people would consider voting Liberal. They've got votes or potential support that they can burn, because they could burn 17 points and still hypothetically form a majority government. For the Conservatives, it's kind of like making lemonade out of lemons, right? At 41%, the thing is they have to be very efficient in order to be competitive. Yeah. So for the Grits, positive news in terms of the upside potential for Justin Trudeau coming out of the summer.
Now let's talk about Canadian preferences.
All right. And once again, if we're going to look at the standard Conservative election plan, it's going to be nothing but attack ads and telling us how dangerous voting for the other guy is, rather than giving us any substance. I mean, these guys don't have anything except an oil pipeline, which most of the country does not want.
Yeah.
People are saying, wait a minute, whatever happened to education? I mean, another interesting thing I saw was, I saw a tweet recently from the Veterans Association, Canadian Veterans, that there is a story appeared, I think it was in an Atlantic Canada paper, that said that veterans are saying, all the legions, there's a huge campaign amongst veterans to punish the Conservatives in this election.
The
So that
veteran-
means a whole lot of Canadian veterans are going to make sure they go to the polls and purposely not vote for the Conservative
And
member.
hey, veterans do support medical marijuana. So,
Good
you know,
time.
hey, we'll...
So yeah, and it's also, you know, I've made this point I think before. In Canada, we have a history of punishing. We actually will get more people out when they're upset with a political party to vote just to punish them than they will to come out and actually vote someone in because they're excited about it, you know, being involved in the political process. Look what happened when Brian Mulroney retired as the Conservative, and we were all mad at him. At that time, the Conservative Party at that election got decimated to 3 seats. 3 seats. I
Yeah.
can't believe they came back to form a government from that.
Okay, well,
That
hopefully...
wasn't that long ago.
Hopefully we're not going to be drawing tickets. I just watched 2 people walk out because we have time to play what?
How much does that bud weigh?
How much does that bud weigh? I think it's
hell.
time.
Does anybody want to win marijuana?
Oh, we
Alright.
got the peanut gallery at the back paying attention. I like it when they're paying attention. It's all
Well,
right.
I know Natalie was up here a couple. We've had a few regulars that have been up here numerous times and not win. So we want to sell you weed later. Just by eyeball counts, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, get your tickets out. We're gonna get
Couple of
call your number and
contestants
come up,
up
and you
here.
got the chance to win some marijuana up here. You got a chance to play the game. There you go. I'll take out. This will be number. First ticket is the last 4 numbers 941. All right, I heard a woo. Get up here. You're our
We
first
got a
contestant
contestant.
on. How much does that bud weigh? Tracy,
The
who else is playing?
second contestant is 950.
950.
950. Where are you, 950?
950. I heard a woo. Get up here.
We need one of those announcers like that guy that says, "Come on down."
Come on
Well,
down.
you know,
You're the next contestant on How Much Does That
What
Bud
happened to
Weigh?
the late Don Pardo?
Right, he just passed away
awesome.
recently.
He did. I know. I was like, he would have been perfect. We need somebody with a Don Pardo voice.
All right, do we have which ticket are you?
Could you just like splice that in from like The Price is Right? Come on down.
All right,
Get
do
that
we
like
have
steal that.
950? Oh!
Oh my God, the sponsor's playing. Good grief! You can't play.
You
Give
can't
that
play.
to somebody who wants to play, dude.
Give it. Who wants to win some marijuana?
Go ahead. There,
Oh,
look,
look,
that
there's
girl
a
right
hand
there.
going
That
up
girl
right
with her
there.
hand.
Look,
You
there's
come on
a
up.
hand
Yeah,
right
you,
there.
You in the white, please. It's her. She gets to play.
All right.
Right on. Here you go. That works.
All right, we got contestants.
We got
Ladies,
Kat. Hey, Kat. How
say
you doing?
your name into the microphone so the folks at home, watching at home, can
That's
hear
Kat.
you.
I'm Kat.
We know Kat.
Yes, we know Kat, but the people watching in chat don't know Kat.
Well, I said, hey, Kat. That's Kat. Okay.
Lisa.
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 Well, do you know how to play the game, Lisa? Yeah, you do. Okay.
And Kat knows how to play the game.
Kat
And you
knows.
guys at home know how to play the game, but there may be some people in the audience that don't know how to play the game. So, the way that we play this game is our contestants will guess to the nearest point of a gram how much this bud weighs. And whoever is closest will win marijuana. Now, they can look at it, and occasionally we do let them smell it, but they are not allowed to touch it. This is eyeball only.
That's right.
All right, ladies, so I'm going to give you your little how much does this bud weigh ballots and your pens, and you guys can figure out how much does that bud weigh. All right, as our contestants check out how much does that bud weigh from our sponsors at budbuddy.biz.
Lisa's asking for a shout out. She wants to know what people.
Oh yeah.
So,
you can shout
no.
out to your friends. You know, if you're watching, like ask for help in the audience. We don't.
Do
we
you
don't
need to
say
phone
that you
somebody?
can't.
Yeah. Okay. Tell her. She's the one who's
You wanna
asking.
show it
I
on,
know.
show it on
You can't do it
Budcam.
Too much, right? Put it on Budcam. But they have to guess, and and whoever's. I just explained how it worked. You didn't win for your ticket, so you should actually go find your smartphone or your smart device, and you can play online when we play later, sponsored by our friends at budbuddy.biz, sending you quality cannabis in the mail. Our in-studio sponsor is the lovely Who Cares Get Doped.
Yes, we'd like to thank Who Cares Get Dope for supplying today's bud prize.
All right, so
how much does that bud weigh on Opus Live?
Our guesses are very varied. I need my pen back, darling. You can't win if you don't give me back my pen. I'm bitter like that. Ginger snaps. So our guesses are very varied. We've got a 3.5 and a 1.8.
And a 1.8 and a 3.5.
And luckily they folded them different because they didn't put their names on them. But because they folded them different, I know who they belong to. So we've got a 1.8 and a 3.5.
Well, let's check out the weight of this bud.
I knew it. Our audience is so useless. I'm sorry. Our winner is Kat. Way to go, girl. 1.8. Yeah, our audience helpers were of no help. That she gave a guess at 3.5. Thank you for playing, Lisa. And actually, wait. Sorry, Lisa, come back.
Come back, Lisa.
Come back.
We have consolation prize for you. You don't go away empty-handed here on Opus Live.
Because, here, have a cookie.
And the fact that you were like so quick to like put up your head, I want to play. You were like, the enthusiasm was like, yeah.
Now
come
do me a
on
favor.
up,
Start with half, wait an hour, and then eat the other half, okay?
Yay, she feels like she won. She did. Everybody's a winner.
Even when you lose, you win a little bit.
Everybody's a winner here on Opus Live. Just coming in. If you're sitting here in this lounge, consider yourself a winner. You're smoking weed in a public place. I mean, come off it. Really. You're a winner. We're all breaking the law and we're winning.
With awesome,
I like that.
epic entertainment.
We could be breaking the law and winning at the same time. That's a good thing.
Yes, yes.
If you're outside and can hear this, we're breaking the law and we're winning.
We've chosen to hang out with you guys and talk about this shit rather than sitting in my living room and getting stoned and talking about this shit.
Yeah, I know this is like somebody's basement, except like a really big basement.
No, this is much better than anybody's basement.
Well, when I was young. It'd be like a whole bunch of friends. It'd be like all your friends' basements in one.
Yes.
It's like we all joined it up and like we joined it and just made like one big basement.
Trust me, though, guys. If you
And then we decided to put it upstairs.
If you haven't been to Vapor Central, this is much, much more. This is the place that you dreamed of when you were in the basement.
I'm fucking high.
You are fucking high.
I'm high, I tell you. Where are we? I don't even know where we are now. See,
well, you jumped.
I jumped the order.
You
and
jumped
I
around,
right
and
up,
I got confused, and now you don't know where you are. Welcome to Opus Live.
I closed my drive. Here it is. Okay, wait. There we go.
We need writers and a teleprompter next. That's what we need.
Well, I need a tray full of next week on Opus
Live.
Live.
Producer. Yeah, next week on Opus. We'll do it next week, or should we do it the day we come back from Saskatchewan?
No, wait, we're doing it next week.
When we come back from Saskatchewan, when you're already tired and kind of fucked up, that would be fun.
Not only are we going to do it next week, but we'll come and film making it so everybody knows exactly what goes in.
All
and
right.
we'll actually have that.
I will try to fit that into my week.
If
we should be able to do that. All right, so next week, I am going to get, Opus is going to.
We have a bet.
Is going to eat an entire tray of my medicated maple bacon pecan fudge.
No, you can't eat that. I'm eating a whole tray.
He needs to eat the whole tray during the show.
And then I'm going to do magic tricks.
And yeah, no, it's kind of like the challenge.
That'll be interesting.
I feel like it's like Pearly Sweet Cake of the Calistoga Kid right now, like except it's baked goods.
Well, I thought, I'm not going to stuff hash up my ass, so I thought instead that, we'll eat a whole tray of fudge would be more appropriate.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was eating edibles last week, and he's like, how about you want to, Opus is gonna eat a whole bunch of edibles and like pass out. He's like, not gonna happen. And I'm
never gonna happen.
I'm like, oh wait, that sounds like a challenge.
Challenge accepted.
So here I go, folks. We're gonna get Opus to eat a tray of fudge next week.
Okay, I'll start the story and then you can find it.
Okay, awesome. I love that game.
All right, so the next story that I'm going to is the police's latest horrifying anti-protest weapon. You found the story?
I found the story.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
That's how.
See, I knew there was a method to the madness.
Sativas.
Yes, and anyways, their latest weapon that they've been using indiscriminately are flash bang devices. And they've been found to have caused some very serious injuries and even death. And this has been prompted debate now over them. Peter Callahan was a guy who was caught between two police lines in West Florissant section of Ferguson, Missouri on Sunday night when something fiery hot singed his leg. Another protester's shirt caught fire briefly. And this Callahan guy, he's a Washington, D.C. based journalist. He deduced that he had been hit by a flashbang device. It was also being used at Occupy Wall Street earlier, at protests earlier. Among the debris, protesters and journalists have picked up in the days since Michael Brown was killed are canisters of the 7290 flashbang made by Combined Tactical Systems. Less lethal diversionary device that has made its way into law enforcement agencies, toolkits to search, usually when they are carrying out search warrants, particularly only for drug crimes. It's like you don't use them for any other search warrants, but if it's a drug warrant, all of a sudden there seem, it's okay to start using flashbang devices. Anyhow, the flashbang devices are of a military style that are being used in Ferguson along with tear gas, beanbag munitions. While marketed as non-lethal, there have been instances where flashbangs have caused serious injury and sometimes death, prompting debate over their proper use.
Yeah, earlier this year, a flashbang device critically injured a 2-year-old baby when they fucking threw it into a crib during a narcotics raid.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
They just tossed one of these indiscriminately through a window, and it ended up in a baby's crib.
Yeah, so on a drug warrant, they came in and...
Pissed me off.
Yeah. So according to Sergeant Colby Dolly, St. Louis County's 18-member tactical unit used their 7290 CTS flashbangs for the first time 3 nights after Michael Brown's death, and has continued to use them periodically in the subsequent day.
So
they've been using them. They used it for the first time 3 nights, and they've been using them continuously. It's not clear how many people may have been burned or hit in the flashbangs in Ferguson. SWAT teams typically use them to temporarily paralyze suspects and prevent them from destroying evidence while carrying out a search warrant and no-knock raids. These are less commonly used for crowd control and inside prisons.
Yeah, flashbangs are descended from blank grenades and developed by military special ops units. In the split second they take to deploy, they emit a wave of heat, light, and sound intense enough to cause temporary blindness and deafness within a 5-foot radius. At closer range, they can cause partial hearing loss and bodily injury, particularly for children who are standing lower to the ground and closer to the impact. Also, some experts say that when used outdoors, these flashbangs pick up gravel and stuff and launch it around like shrapnel, also causing injuries. Accidents have been documented since the first days American tactical teams started using flashbangs. In 1984, less than a year after the Los Angeles Police Department incorporated flashbangs into their SWAT teams, a woman was killed when a device exploded at her back as a tactical team entered her home to carry out a drug raid.
Yeah.
Gee, guess what?
Flashbang manufacturing has evolved significantly since then, from crude explosives that detonated like grenades without shrapnel to today flashbangs, many of which release a sudden volume of ignited gas through vent holes and leave behind an empty canister like those found on the streets of Ferguson. Witnesses to this week's unrest in Ferguson told ProPublica it feels like the ground is shaking when this device deploys nearby. It was like a real loud explosion, and then people began to run. but they didn't know where to run to, said Tef Poe, who had been on the streets the past 12 days. Dolly said that his agency hasn't been able to track the injuries because individuals scatter when a flashbang deploys near them. If you say you're injured, you're implicated yourself in causing trouble, he said. So people, like, it's kind of one of those things that, like in the G20, it's like, well, if you were arrested, you must have been causing trouble. Like, that was how people looked at a lot of people that were arrested during people being picked up.
Yeah, it's that whole, cops wouldn't arrest you if you didn't deserve it for something. You know, like you might, and even if you totally are not guilty, they go, well, you shouldn't have been in that area, or you shouldn't have been there.
Victim blaming, and that's what people are worried about telling them people that they were injured because they must have been causing trouble, right?
Yeah, the St. Louis County Tactical Unit uses flashbangs occasionally when they carry out search warrants, but Dolly could not recall his unit ever using them to disperse crowds until this week. And this is obviously because what's going on in Ferguson is a flashpoint of shit spreading from there. It could move out to other areas, and they're worried as hell that it doesn't do that. This is like how revolutions get started, you know, really. A couple more people get killed by cops. Look out! Somewhere this is going to explode.
It's terrifying. I mean, like, the people of Ferguson. I'm just like this could be anywhere, and you know, the fact that it's so close to home, it's happening to them. Crazy.
It's extremely sad. I don't know. Did I have video of this action going up or whatnot? You know what? Actually, Chris, but. Why don't you put up that one video standing up to cops and bully MPs? This is me like a year or two back when we closed down our MP's office by having a peaceful occupation. I had the GoPro running the whole time.
But they are saying this is the less lethal way of dealing with things. So, you know, there are other ways that they could have been dealing with that could cause more damage.
This is how we pull shit off in Canada.
It was about 30 seconds long, I think. Pretty well asked us to leave.
Yeah.
And
That's my member of parliament standing in the suit there with the beard.
This
He's
is
a
his
dick.
actual private place. It is a business. Like he is your MP, but he is the actual person who's in charge of the property. So it's not actually a public place, and you can come in and which you did, and give him your letters and whatnot. But basically, if he wants you then to leave, he does have the right to ask you to leave.
Well, we certainly got
We're not
answers
leaving.
from the serious crime squad when
Yeah.
they were called before.
And as well
We
from
have every right to be here.
from the Crown attorneys who are well aware of these protests and that they said that there's this is being a public office that is for the public to come into. As long as we're respectful here, we are being.
Well, I smell pot in the air here, but the thing is...
Well, we're medical marijuana users.
That's fine, but you have to understand, he has to go home at some point. You can't stay here.
Oh, no, and during normal, I was saying, during normal posted hours, business hours is all we're doing. And people have come in and we've been very quiet and let them go about their business. We're not disturbing anyone that way.
Except it is his business and that's his right, just like a store owner.
No, this isn't a business.
No,
It's not a business. This is a public, this is an elected, it's for, I'm a constituent here.
Where you can legally be, though, is on the other side of the glass. You can protest in that spot, which is completely private, like public area, on the sidewalk in front of here. You just, if he wants you out of his office, that's his right, as the person who's in charge of this area.
This is the constituent's office,
Mhm.
and I am a constituent.
And we're constituents here.
Well, let me just
Actually,
say,
it's his office.
my office has spent all morning with you guys. We've had meetings with you already. We have other people who serve, and a lot of our service is done on the telephone, and it can't be done with recording devices on and with people having picnics in my office. So
Well,
I'm asking you to leave my office.
I wasn't recording anything when people come in here at all. No, when people come in to do business, I only recording it when we are in here doing our business. If somebody else was to come in, I would turn, like public, who's not part of our group, the camera goes off. I don't record them. And because it's...
That's unlawful.
Well, it's not even it's none of our business, so I have nothing to do with
He
that.
has to be able to do his business, and if you're then
Your
taking up all
assistant
We haven't, but,
to
you
us,
know.
it's going to obviously
you did
interfere
not
with
meet
it.
with us.
It's the same.
And that's his choice.
So it goes for another 10 minutes.
But those are his choices.
Yeah. Basically, we forced them to, we told them to call the Crown Attorney. and that we had legal representation and had been advised that as long as we stayed there and were quiet about it, that we could do what we were doing. So at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, they shut the office down.
That's what they did in a lot of cases to us. They just decided, okay, well then we're closed in, then now you have to leave.
We're closing, and we all went, oh, well, if you're closing, we're out of here. So we all went outside on the sidewalk and...
well, unless you were like Mike Mailman, who went during the MMPR protests and went to his constituent's office and got taken in, roughed up, got his meds taken. There was a whole, remember his whole story was
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
never go, here's the thing, is you're going to go to protest your constituent's office, yes, they may close down early, but please don't go do it by yourself. Bring a friend.
You have to bring like 4 or 5 people and cameras.
And the cameras.
And cameras. And don't be afraid to roll the cameras and continue to...
Jacob Hunter got arrested at the one in Niagara Falls.
Yeah, and he got off though, eh?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, no, he beat all those charges. And
right, they dropped them.
And and basically, and at that point, it was all over the news. Oh, it's okay to film. So more people, it just prompted more people to film and say, hey, no, I got it right. I saw the Jacob Hunter thing, get out of here. So that's what it's all about. It's always film cops, always, no matter what.
Well, and I mean, it's so easy to now. Like, I mean, with the cell phones and everything else, I mean, you have power now.
Yeah.
We do have the power to tell our own sides of the story. So, it's amazing the stuff that you see with people that have now cameras in their homes, and the cops come in and they're like, no, we can see what you're doing because we had our own cameras. It's kind of crazy.
There's a good video up of this Bishop Ron Allen debating with Mason Tivert. We could always put that up for a couple of minutes.
What's the story?
Oh,
Is it related to a story that's murdered?
No, this is just
random videos.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, good. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't lost.
This guy, it just shows you the futility of the argument that people have over opposing, the sensible and adult use of recreational marijuana.
Okay. So, I don't know what video that is, but Chris, go for it.
I like to. Chris can probably find it. Oh, I know what he's waiting for.
What do you want?
Bishop Ron Allen and Mason Tivert. 5 minutes.
All right, 1 sec.
All right. Yeah, you want to light up but do not have the money? Good news, at least if you're in Berkley, California. A new law requiring medical marijuana dispensaries to give away at least 2% of their weed to low-income patients. Here to react is recovering drug addict and head of the International Faith-Based Coalition, Bishop Ron Allen, and Mason Tivert. He is the Director of Communications for the Marijuana Policy Project. So Reverend, what do you think about this?
I think it's ludicrous, over-the-top madness. Why would Berkeley City Council want to keep their poverty-stricken, underserved high, in poverty and lethargic? It's absolutely mind-boggling and absolutely ridiculous for Berkeley City Council to make such a suggestion and then to put this in motion. Makes no sense at all.
Mason, are you for dumping pot on the impoverished?
Well, I think that we need to look at this for what it is, which is medical marijuana is legal in California. 85% of Americans, according to Fox News' last poll, support medical marijuana. And it's up to this community to decide if they'd like to have a program that allows low-income individuals to have access to it. And that's really their decision. So it's a matter of the democratic process, people following the state's laws, and this law appears to accommodate both of those.
Right. So first off, let's take a look at the stat as it comes to Berkeley. Their poverty rate is 18%. The U.S. poverty rate is 15%, so it's slightly up. Bishop, does it necessarily, do you look at medical marijuana different than you would OxyContin or any other type of medicine? Or are we just looking at the connotation of recreational drugs and misconstruing it?
Well, research tells us that marijuana has the same effects on the pleasure central system in the brain as heroin, cocaine, crack cocaine, and so it's no difference at all. And with Mason talking that it's up to the citizen, Mason, that's why we elect individuals to help make good decisions for our cities. And you have to admit that Berkeley City Council must have been high to make this decision to cause generational poverty. The Center for Children of Poverty makes a strong statement that when a child is in poverty and live in poverty, they have a greater chance of becoming and living in poverty as an adult. And so Berkeley has not helped their city at all. In fact, it pushed it deeper into a depression, lethargicy,
or wipes out
a
ambition.
criminal mind. This is bad.
Mason, how do you feel about that?
Well, Bishop, with all due respect, your suggestion that marijuana has the same effect as heroin and crack cocaine really just suggests that you don't know what you're talking about, quite frankly. I mean, the fact is, marijuana is proven to be less toxic and less addictive, not only than those drugs, but than alcohol. And, if you don't like marijuana and you don't like people who use marijuana, that's your prerogative. But the fact is that medical associations across the country and more than 80% of Americans think marijuana can help seriously ill people.
Problem. In practicality, we know people are abusing the medical marijuana prescription. They're using it for recreation purposes, and doctors are just complicit, and this plays into the cycle. And that's what the bishop's seeing because he's been there himself.
Well, the fact is that, Bishop, the fact is that narcotic painkillers are one of the #1 causes of accidental death in the United States, and marijuana is not responsible for any overdose deaths. What they're actually finding is that states with medical marijuana laws are seeing fewer opioid deaths than states without them.
All right, let him finish.
Mason, cigarettes does not cause an overdose, but we have many people dying from cigarettes.
That doesn't change anything. Cigarettes are also far more harmful than marijuana.
All right.
Mason, you have to let me say something here. Marijuana is carcinogenic. It's worse than cigarettes. Look, I know you guys want to smoke.
These guys
it was almost over, but it's
yeah,
great.
Yeah, no, that's good. Thanks, Chris. Well, you can see just how ludicrous the bishop's argument was there. It's just ridiculous. I mean, again, his argument is like a direct affront to democracy.
Well,
like he just no.
Ignorance is bliss, right?
I can't believe the bullshit. But this was all about the fact that the Berkeley City Council voted to bring in the free medical marijuana to low-income patients.
Yeah.
Basically, it's 2% of their overall gross sales. They have to donate to people who make under $32,000 a year. Basically. We'll come back to that story. First, we have to honor one of our sponsors, Skunk Magazine and Pure Garden Resort and Grill.
So if we have any more tickets that need to come up here,
if
so we can draw for the Skunk Magazine.
Somebody's going to win here tonight. Somebody's going to win a year's subscription to Skunk Magazine. So get your tickets out. And Tracy, you want to pull one out?
I'm going to pull one out right now. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Get your tickets, folks. All right, Stoners. It is ticket number 975.
Ooh, 975.
That ticket 975.
Anybody there? Yo. No, 975. Nobody's got
975 going once.
Oh,
we got it.
We got a winner.
Awesome. You have won a subscription
from the Hustle Gang.
Nice.
Yo,
let me see your ticket. Do you want to tell him what he's won?
What's your name, bro?
My name's Gabe.
Gabe?
Yeah.
Nice to hear you. Well, I'm proud to tell you, sir, that you have not won a 6-month winter and vacation away. No, that's not what you get. What you have won, though, is a year's subscription to Skunk Magazine.
That sounds a lot better.
There you go. That's better. See, look at that. This guy wants that going on. All right. I am so high.
Oh, no, here's more tickets if we're taking them.
We're not taking more tickets.
Well, just in case we
just
got
in
something
case
else,
we need
got
them?
something else to
All
give
right.
away.
Oh, we might. Okay.
We might. Yeah,
all right,
just in
we
case.
Could. So yeah, don't throw your tickets away, and hey, hang around.
Because those 2 tickets didn't get a chance to win, so now I feel bad. So now we have to let everybody have a chance to win.
So everybody needs to hang out. Don't leave. There's going to be maybe more giveaways. We do have things to give away, I suppose. We always have stuff to give away.
Always, I like to give things away.
That's the whole thing about this show.
In 10 minutes, we're going to do the Bud Buddy online.
That's right. Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll be
Congratulations.
online. How much does that Bud weigh? For BudBuddy.biz, another one of our great sponsors. We
So
really
chat,
like those guys.
get ready if you're going to play, and be good.
Yep. And congratulations to Gareth, our winner.
And
for
and
Skunk
again,
Magazine.
and listen to Chris when he said, "Be good."
Be good. So yes, and congratulations to Gareth.
And if somebody has a rig and a torch, want to come up and pull up a dab here and do a dab, that'd be awesome.
Oh, and if someone wants to bring me a Diet Coke, it feels like a camel shit in my mouth. It's like so much sand in there. I don't know. I'm just like, oh my God. I've been up here smoking joints, and I'm like, I only brought one Diet Coke.
Okay,
I
Tracy
have no
needs-
water.
I need
It's
a
like-
water.
it's
Tracy
like
needs a Diet Coke.
It's like the Sahara Desert in here.
There it is, right
Ah.
there. We got a dab rig. Boy, I tell you, this thing's just fall into place on this show so quickly.
They do. I am
I have
God
no-
bless
man.
them. I'm hoping.
All right. What else do we have to talk about tonight?
All kinds of stuff to talk about.
I
We
know,
could,
but I jumped the order, so I threw everything out. Hey,
we
did
could
you?
talk the fact that Ontario's minimum wage is
I
jumping to
just
11
was good.
bucks.
I just got to that. See, there you go.
Great minds think alike.
Bum, ba, ba.
It's all coming together.
Oh, here comes Natalie. Cool. What's in
Oh,
your? Look at
with
this.
a
I like the
Diet Coke.
phone glow in the
God bless
pocket.
you. Oh, see, look, we both get exactly what we like: Diet Coke and a dab, and it's awesome.
I'm getting double dabbed, and this is good because I've actually done up the timeline on the storyboard that Tracy could lead into this one. So while I do a dab,
Oh, there we go. So why don't I just go on to this? Angel Reyes is getting his first raise in 4 years Sunday when Ontario's minimum wage goes up by 75 cents to 11 bucks. But he's not feeling any richer. The cost of everything has gone up so much. My rent has increased, transportation has increased, food has increased, even the cost of stamps at the post office, said the 60-year-old temp agency worker who sorts trash for a Toronto recycling company. So this guy's like making minimum wage. He's 60 years old, sorting trash for a recycling company. First raise in 4 years. I'm going to cry, he says, but nobody listens to us. At $11, the minimum wage still leaves a full-time worker like Reyes living 16% below the poverty line, said Dina Ladd of the Workers' Action Center, a nonprofit workers collective. The center, along with community and labor groups, has been part of a year-long campaign to raise Ontario's previous $10.25 minimum wage to $14. So, yeah, so that's where we are right now. Is that basically it's gone up 75 cents, and it's not even if you make minimum wage, you're still 16% below the poverty line.
this story was September 4th, incidentally, just for your
Yeah.
bit of your knowledge. I'm gonna hit this. Almost ready? Okay. Go ahead. You
Oh, yeah.
continue.
Oh, okay. You're still doing dabs. I thought you did a dab.
I'm
I thought
dabbing.
you were
I'm
double dabbing.
I'm double
All
dabbing.
right.
I'm doubling down like Gupta.
At that rate, someone working full-time would earn about 10% above the Ontario poverty line, of about $23,000 before taxes for a single person. Advocates taking credit for the Liberal government's decision in January to boost the minimum wage to $11 on June 1st. Whoa. New legislation introduced in February, which died when the election was called, would have tied future increases to inflation. So there was the potential there to actually have legislation in place that would make for increase for inflation, but that died. On the Hastings Premier Kathleen Wynne has said the legislation would be reintroduced if she is reelected. Progressive Conservative leader Tim Hudak said he would keep the Liberals' $11 minimum wage and peg it to inflation. NDP leader Andrea Horwath has said she would increase it to $12 over 2 years and cut the corporate tax rate for small businesses from 4.5% to 3% to help them adjust. And NDP government would also tie future minimum wage to increases to inflation.
Yeah,
Even though, okay.
Oops, sorry. Okay. Thanks, Trace. I'll just
right.
step back
There,
in here now that I've
there you go.
now that I've double dabbed. Yeah, even though the minimum wage is going up, some of the workers have said their employers are cutting benefits to compensate. In a Toronto area Tim Hortons worker who didn't want her name or outlet location identified for fear of reprisals said that her employer posted a memo notifying staff he was ending breaks with pay to recoup costs. Given this new increase, as well as continued economic and competitive pressures, increasing commodity costs, and minimal increases in menu pricing, effective June 1st, we will be shifting all hourly team members in the restaurant to unpaid breaks, the memo reads. We are not pleased to have to make this adjustment to the break policy and have held off making this change for several years, it said.
And see, and here's the thing, so that legally they're not allowed to do that. Labor laws, they're supposed to get a break.
Well, I'm hoping that in these committees cases that somebody, once there's one legal challenge, somebody brings this up and wins, it'll stop this practice amongst all the rest of the
staff
employers.
members afraid to say anything because there's so little work out there for minimum wage
Well, I know,
jobs.
service industry, and that's what these are like entry-level positions. That's the problem.
Yeah, but these it's Tim Hortons, man.
That's what I mean.
Like it's horrifying. You know, it's a simple labor law. They need to get breaks.
It's not Tim
Unpaid
Hortons.
breaks.
It's Burger King.
Same deal, man.
A big company that likes to hide from paying taxes.
Well, but it's simple labor laws. You know, you work 4 hours, you get a 15-minute break. That's the way it works.
That's what I hear. That's the way it goes. Yeah. Well, we'll see how this all works.
A spokesman for Tim Hortons said these decisions are made by the franchise level by each individual Tim Hortons restaurant owner, consistent with provincial labor regulations. So here in Ontario, under Ontario's Employment Standards Act, employees are required to give workers a 30-minute unpaid meal break after the 5 consecutive hours of work.
Hey, how come you got a Diet Coke? I didn't get a water.
Because you asked for DAB, not for a water.
Oh, I asked for water too.
Well, I was the one who was saying it was like.
Could I please get a water?
A spokeswoman for Restaurants Canada, which represents about 30,000 fast food and full-service restaurants across the country, had not heard of restaurants ending breaks with pay to compensate for the minimum wage hike. But Joyce Reynolds said she was not surprised owners are making the adjustments. The biggest impact we've heard is there will be a reduction in hours for part-time staff and hiring of older, experienced workers over first-time job applicants when vacancies arrive. We're also heard that there will be less hiring of students this summer.
Yeah, since Ontario is already trailing other provinces in Canada in the food service sales, there's a considerable anxiety among restaurant owners over minimum wage increases, Reynolds said. Thank you, Aaron. Our director of the show, Aaron Goodwin.
Yeah, Aaron.
If sales are flat and labor costs go up considerably, and labor is such a huge part of operating costs of a restaurant, they have to find a way to manage those costs, she said.
Other wage increases Sunday include the student minimum wage, which is rising by 70 cents to $10.30. Minimum wage for liquor servers will go up by just 65 cents. So to $9.55. So, you know, that's why in bars they rely on your tips. Farm workers are excluded from all minimum wage provisions under the Employment Standards Act.
Hey.
Yes.
Quite the story. Money is going up. People are going to earn more money, but they pay more for it. As it always matters. So what? I guess basically they're saying that minimum wage should really be around $14.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, it's all depending on where you live, too. Like, I mean, living in Toronto on $11 an hour is a lot harder to do than it is in other parts of the country, just because of the cost of living.
Oh, for sure. Always depends on stuff like that.
$11 an hour here, you're at the poverty line. Where do you want to go to next? Are you all right there?
Oh.
It's
20 after 8.
Time to play.
That means it's 4:20, I think, in Alaska.
Yeah, I think it's Alaska.
Or it's time to play.
Time to play.
How much does that Bud weigh? Online version for budbuddy.biz. One of my favorite sponsors.
BudBuddy.biz sending quality.
It's true. Out of all our
cannabis
sponsors, I have a
through
favorite, and it is
post.
budbuddy.biz. I have to say that. That's just the way it goes.
So anybody that is playing in chat, you must have a mailing address that is outside of the United States. If you are from the U.S., you cannot play this game. And please also you only get a chance to guess once. Chris Goodwin, our awesome producer, watches the chat, and it sometimes gets confusing with all those bids, so please, only once.
And that's what Chris means by playing nice. So you can only guess once. And I'm going to put the today's bud is, I've got this scary looking one. I'm trying to fool the online viewers. Because I actually found a bud two little buds that are connected to the original branch. So there's a bit of stock involved. So this is going to be tricky to guess. Anyhow, it's like, one of those trick questions.
He's fucking with you, chat. He's fucking with you.
So I'm going to give the chat 30 seconds. And as always, one vote each. And then after 30 seconds, we're going to cut it. And whoever's closest wins.
Come on, everybody, you know the music.
2, 1, 0. That's it. So,
yeah, so what's happening? What is the kind of guesses are we getting?
42-0 is the last vote, just to let everyone know in the chat room. If you have the same screen as I do. I think you do. But there was about 15 or maybe more votes. Everybody voted really close, like 1.7, the first vote was 1.59, then 1.7, 1.4, 1.1, 1.75, 1.2, 0.8, 0.9, and then 2 grams, 0.7, 1.5, and it goes on and on for a couple more.
I got a feeling we're going to be over 2, but let's have a look. We'll check.
This is it. I wonder. $1.23.
Hang on, I got to reset.
Let's check that a second time. And then I'm going to have to go back and look. 1.23, 1.24.
124.
All right. Let me check.
And I'd like to mention, too, I am the only one during this show who's allowed to have scales in the lounge here. So for future reference, just because I got scales doesn't mean you can. So just like to put that out once in a while for those of you not aware. Look at this, Tracy. There's a lighter on the floor, a lighter in the couch. It's a good thing I got mine over here on one of those fancy lighter leashes. You don't want to have those.
So unless I'm wrong and Chad can help me, it looks like Archer at 1.2.
Archer at 1.2. Well, congratulations. You're the big winner on how much does that Bud weigh online version for the chat. And from our sponsors, budbuddy.biz. So send an email to with your mailing information where you want your weed sent to vaporcentral@gmail.com, and we'll make sure that gets forwarded to Bud Buddy, and they'll send your weed.
Exactly.
So, yay, congratulations. That's awesome. So meanwhile, moving right along with the show here, now that we've got that taken care of, and I can get rid of this piece of stock. There we go. Let's put these buds back in the bag. All right. So what else? This is a case. You may have heard there's a case against Dean Del Mastro, a member of Parliament who's up on charges of overspending and election fraud. And they've been wrapping up the case. And here's a little story that came out on this one recently.
I apologize for running away, but Naomi had to help me. I had a cramp in my butt.
No worries, no worries. A cramp in your butt. Was that like a left cheek, right cheek?
The left cheek. Oh my God,
Left
it
cheek
was brutal.
cramp. It's that couch.
It's that couch. I was just like,
It's the couch.
It's like, oh my God. Okay, I have
I know
to
they
move.
promised us. I mean, new furniture on the set here, and we're still waiting.
I've got the pillow, but it's just kind of like.
All right. Yeah, what was I? Okay, so in the trial with Dean Del Mastro, the evidence has all been presented in the Dean Del Mastro election fraud trial, and the story told by key witness Frank Hall. While Del Mastro's story doesn't match much of the facts, the prosecutor told the judge in Peterborough on Thursday. He said that the evidence of guilt in this case is overwhelming. Lemon told the judge. Lisa Cameron, as the Crown presented its final arguments. Del Mastro and Richard McCarthy, as official agent in the 2008 election, each faced 3 charges of exceeding the $92,566 spending limit and filing a false return. Del Mastro is also charged with exceeding his donation limit because it's alleged he paid for the calls with a $21,000 personal check. The Crown's case rests on evidence from Hall that the CEO of Holland Shed Research Corporation Group, now defunct voter contract firm, that it's alleged carried out the work for Del Mastro's campaign. On Tuesday, Del Mastro's lawyer, Jeff Aote, I don't know, maybe I'm not saying that right, repeatedly called Hall a liar, telling the judge that Hall went to Elections Canada because he had an axe to grind with Dean because of his business dispute. Hey.
On Thursday, the prosecutor, Lemon, said Del Mastro's testimony was not credible and that the volumes of evidence that had been presented all back up Hall's story. All this evidence is consistent with Hall's narrative of the events as opposed to Del Mastro's narrative, he said. Del Mastro's defense relies on fantastic stories, exaggerated or tortured interpretations of evidence, Lemon said. The defense submissions are based on misunderstanding of the law, misunderstanding of the evidence, or mischaracterizations of the evidence, Lemon said. The prosecutor spent most of the morning methodically countering the defense's description of the evidence, pointing out instances where documents appeared to back up Hall's story and contradict Del Mastro's.
Yeah, the defense has said that the campaign manager was not authorized to hire Holland Shed, but the prosecutor pointed out that McCarthy's signature appears on the quote giving the go-ahead for the work. Del Mastro and McCarthy took steps to conceal the expense from the campaign budget, and because they had spent too much money. And after the election, the prosecutor said that Del Mastro strung Hall along until he refused to pay for an unrelated software project in an effort to recover $9,000 worth of personal expenses.
The prosecutor said the minutes of the Peterborough Conservative Riding Association, for instance, show that McNutt had spending authority and that the campaign overspent in the early stages. The defense has argued that the minutes were inaccurate. The most important evidence is a series of email exchanges between Hall and Del Mastro, in which Del Mastro seeks details about the calls Holland Shed was making. The defense has suggested that Hall may have altered those emails, a suggestion that Lemon derided. There's no basis to suggest he tailored this evidence, said Lemon. It smacks of desperation to make that kind of submission.
Yeah. There's basically, this guy Hall didn't have the technical expertise to change the metadata associated with the emails, Lemon said. There's also no evidence to support the argument. There has to be reasonable doubt. It's not a fanciful doubt. Lemon said it would be an understatement to call Del Mastro's evidence evasive, saying he contradicted evidence, but he didn't provide credible explanations. Del Mastro took the position that anything that implicated him didn't happen. Mr. Del Mastro has no other recourse because otherwise he has no other answer. Banking records appear to back up Hall's story, which is that Del Mastro paid him $21,000 during the campaign. with a backdated check.
Yeah.
DeMaster's story about the check that he wrote it months earlier as a deposit on the basis of a verbal agreement doesn't add up, said Lemon. DeMastro's explanation makes absolutely no sense. That is very damning with respect to his credibility. Well, gee, surprise, surprise. I mean, this is a Conservative MP and handpicked to Harper's inner circle. Another one. These guys, all the ones that are lined up to Harper's inner circle have no credibility. Every single inner circle dude is up on some serious shit.
Well, yeah, DeMastro.
Whether it's senators.
The former parliamentary secretary to Stephen Harper.
Yeah.
He withdrew from the Conservative caucus when he was charged. He was previously his party representative on Kim Commons Ethics Committee.
Yeah, on the Ethics Committee.
He's actually on the Ethics Committee.
Yeah, this guy, the Ethics Committee. Mr. Ethical.
He is a longtime critic of Elections Canada, the agency that investigated
Gee, you didn't see that coming.
his alleged elections fraud for this case. And he left the courtroom, a grim-looking DeMastro again criticized the agency.
He had a sad face on.
I think the evidence speaks, he said. We have always indicated there was a very important counter-narrative. The counter-narrative is established by the dates on the contracts, which were put in place by Mr. Hall. All the contracts in this case were put in place by Mr. Hall. They support my narrative, and I think it's a stretch to say otherwise. I stand by everything that Jeff said. I think Elections Canada had to say those things. I think it may speak a little bit to desperation on their part.
Lemon, leaving the courtroom soon after, declined to comment on DeMastro's assertions. He says, I can't comment on that, he said. You heard the Crown submissions in court. We focused our submission on the evidence the judge heard. We don't focus on extraneous matters. If convicted, he and McCarthy face up to a year in jail and a fine as much as $1,000. That's it. Yeah. DeMastro would also be prevented from standing for office for 5 years. Cameron said Thursday that she intends to release her verdict October 31st on Halloween. Yep. You know, what kind of bullshit is this? This is like, you know, a $21,000 check, overspending like the $32,000 limit and stuff, and all they have as a fine is $1,000, up to $1,000 fine. And maybe faces up to a year in jail. Guaranteed he's not going anywhere near a jail. He might get a $1,000 fine. I mean, can they give him community hours? I want to see him picking up shit in the street.
Yeah, but I mean, please. I mean, he tried to forge his spending. Do you think he won't forge his community hours?
Well, no, because I'm going to follow him around with a camera. I want to document this, actually, and because we would be able to. Yeah, you could. You could follow him around with a camera and say, I want to watch, you know, what are you doing for your community hours? Let's go and film this shit. The news should be on that. Yeah, like down at the soup kitchen and watching them, you know. I want to see a happy face when you're doling out that soup. You know, getting close with those people. I tell you. What else do we got going on? Do we have anything else to do, like special? That we
I know the story.
By the way,
no,
just to jump in the chat, there's a lot of new people in the chat tonight, and a lot of them are commenting on Craigslist and buying weed or shatter. We did the show a few weeks ago with Myrna, and
yeah.
So a lot of out-of-towners now, we've been suggesting it for the past few weeks, and it's worked. What do you guys think about it?
Well, actually, I was here the first night that they sent Mastarola out to do it. It was actually quite awesome because I was actually standing out front, kind of watching it all go down. And I think it's actually there's 420 ads. When Myrna was first looking for roommates, when he was at his place years ago, I was like, dude, just put like 420. You'll get pothead roommates. As soon as you put 420, they will know, they will come to you. You will find kids that will rent in your house. Yeah. And this was years ago. The fact that they're selling weed on there now is great.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's a lot easier just to put 420 friendly instead of like, smoker okay, no tobacco. Yeah. Right? Like nowadays you just put 420 and 420. That's all it takes. Yeah.
Actually, there is a story we do have to talk about. We have to talk about the bust in Nova Scotia.
I know that's going to come up next, but I just wanted to make one other comment because we got time.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I think it's like I'm a fan of the more ways that people can get weed, the better. So again, you know, I'm not against these LPs and people who want to like set up mass factories and grow shitloads of weed.
Yeah, great.
Hey, not a problem. As long as it's an open and free market that includes,
Grow
your own. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Same as I can, like, you know, I can grow vegetables, I can grow my own tobacco for personal use, I can make beer, I can make wine.
Yep.
So I have the choice. And I think in today's society, you know, we all want to have more choice in what we want. And variety is supposed to be the spice of life. So
yeah, exactly.
And I mean, and again, if it's highly restrictive and difficult and only certain people are allowed and everybody else is forced to get whatever they need, whether it's clothes, toilet paper, bread, I don't care what it is, or your weed, if you're forced to get it from only a few certain individuals, that's monopoly, and that's not like what I call free legal weed. So if it's free and it's legal and it's not against the law anymore, well then, if marijuana is legal, then anybody who wants to should be allowed to grow it.
Free.
That's it.
It's either going to take your labor or your money.
Well, yeah, no, but
know,
I mean
like
free to have that choice.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm after. All right, let's do this story because I think we're running out of time. The show will be over in another, I don't know, we got to climb out of here because next up, it's Monday Night Football. Oh, right, and I think there might be another guy, Cal Post, coming on.
I like Cal. Brian O'Gorman.
Oh, well, all right.
Okay, that's hot.
All right, then.
It's Brian. It's Brian.
Where is Brian? Is he here?
Is he here?
No. He was here. He's probably out having a smoke. All right.
He's at Starbucks.
He's at Starbucks.
He's at Starbucks.
Or he's outside having a... If you're outside having a smoke...
No. He would be at Starbucks.
We're happy to have you on tonight after us.
He is not Cal
on the
Post.
Brian O'Gorman podcast.
Cal Post is taking the week off to drive for TIFF.
Oh, for a minute I thought you were going to say to dry
driving
out.
He does this every year. He's a driver for around.
Oh, I'm looking forward to next week's show when he'll talk about it, I bet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That should be interesting.
For a minute I thought you said he was drying out. He's a
I'm
driver.
like-
He's what? He's at a bender and he's got to dry out from TIFF? What? It's not even, TIFF's not even over. What the fuck? All right, let's talk about this story.
Yes.
4 people were arrested after police raid 3 properties, including a medical marijuana shop. This was in Halifax, Nova Scotia. 4 people are in custody, and Halifax Regional Police raided 3 properties, including a medical marijuana shop in connection with drug trafficking investigation on Friday. The officers seized several boxes from the Pharmacists Cannabis Resource Center. They operated on Godingham Street. And in July, we seized a large quantity of cash along with a large quantity of marijuana. The number of complaints were received by various levels of government and the police department that triggered an investigation, which was ongoing for quite some time, which led to the searches today. A 19-year-old man and a 40-year-old man were arrested at the scene without incident. According to the website, Pharmacists is a vapor lounge that also provides medical marijuana. The website says that people over the age of 19 who have a license to smoke medical marijuana can purchase products at the shop and smoke them in the back using a vaporizer. Chris Ennis, the store owner, has a license to grow, use, and supply medical marijuana. I don't know how he has that. That doesn't sound like good reporting.
He's by the sounds of it, he's a GG.
Yeah. But Health Canada prohibits sale of medical marijuana through storefronts. The cops say selling marijuana at the store would be considered drug trafficking. There's no such licenses available in Canada, said Bordages, that's the cop. You cannot sell to medical users, so there is no such licenses available to do that. Blah, blah, yes. Officers also executed search warrants at 2 addresses in the head of Chesapeake, including homes on East Chesapeake Road and property on Colford Road, where they seized quantity of marijuana, a large quantity of cash from the East Chesapeake Road home. A 39-year-old man and a 47-year-old woman were arrested without incident. Another man and woman were arrested at the head of Chesapeake in relation to business as well. Investigators say they found a large marijuana grow-up on Colford Drive and seized several hundred marijuana plants in various stages of growth. No one was arrested at the property, and no charges have been laid at this time, but are anticipated. I got to make these things bigger for when I'm making that shit sometime.
Yeah. So So there's a little bit of, I won't read the whole thing, but a little bit.
You got some inside info.
So it's an update from the inside.
Background info.
So, hello everyone, I am home. One thing I want to say to you upon returning home is it seems the Crown does not want to set precedent on extracts. They left all the dabs here. Patients, please consider this and act accordingly. Luckily, they didn't take the computer. They did not take the phones that is used for the answering services for all the Chris's patients. So you give everybody a moment, the club will act accordingly. So for anybody that's working using the Compassion Club out that way, they've still got the computer, they've still got the phones, please just act accordingly. Chris is still in jail. Apparently they held him illegally for 24 hours without talking to the Justice of the Peace. They also denied him food, water, and a blanket for almost 24 hours. The cells are cold, and if you guys know Halifax, it's cold, it's damp, it's September. And if you know, when you go to jail, wear layers without strings, a belt, or laces. Unfortunately, the person who was writing this was surprised and was wearing her bikini bottoms and a little cotton mini dress. She froze like crazy. Because it's summer still there, but in the cells you freeze. Illness does not do well with the person who wrote this. Illness does not do well with cold. These transgressions were used as a bargaining chip, along with the fact that the police had no idea we were not under any undertakings, and that my charges upon my house were stayed. So there's like the people, sorry, it's hard a little bit to read sometimes what people are reading on Facebook, but basically Chris is still in jail. They didn't take any of the extracts. The Compassion Club section of this part seems to be still operating. And he's like, who knew the courts were open on a Saturday?
So it sounds like mostly they're trying to continue to struggle through and remain open and supply meds to people that need them. And it almost seems as if the cops kind of backed off on that sort of area in a way. I don't know. This is a weird story from what you're getting now, the background info.
Yeah,
I read this. There was a lot of typos, and
there's a lot of stuff. So sometimes
it's very hard to read because it's just all written really. It's not written very well.
Yeah, I literally grabbed it offline as somebody posted it in my feed as I was leaving to come to the show tonight.
Yeah, this is a late addition to the show at the very bottom here.
Yeah, like it's literally it's the call out to the activists in the area for action. So it's literally as somebody was getting out of jail.
Well, that's all right because we're running out of time.
All right.
However, though, I'll just sum it up. We'll wrap that story up and just say that this was the club we talked about last week on the show that was opened up in Halifax. So they're having a little bit of trouble out there now. And
yeah, they opened up in July, actually.
We wish you guys well, and we'll try to we'll keep you abreast of the story as it unfolds as we find out more about that. Coming up next, it's the CK Podcast with guest host Brian O'Gorman. That's right. And tomorrow, get there early. There's the Culture High at the Varsity Cinema going on at 4:20. Get there early. Make sure you want to get in. And on the Myrna Zone tomorrow night at 7:20, the director, what's his name?
Adam Scorgi.
Adam Scorgi. I always want to say Scorsese, but it's
and I believe he's actually the producer.
But he the director, producer, he'll be here answering questions and talking about the movie and the screening. And I'm hoping to make it. I should be there for that myself, so that's going to be fun.
I'm planning on attending that.
And on Wednesday, right here, we've got Weedy Wednesdays going on
with Brian O'Gorman.
With Brian O'Gorman on this third stage. Hey, you're here twice. And Third Class Thursdays with, I'm not sure who's guesting up this week.
That is Hunter Collins.
No, he's on.
He's away.
He's away.
Who's taking care of Third Class Thursdays this week? Do we know?
Do we know?
They don't
It's
care.
Monday Night Football. We don't care.
It's Monday Night Football.
On Friday, hey, I know that Cannabis Culture News with Jeremiah Vandermeer on Pot TV. That's always worth checking out.
Yep.
That's a good time.
And
he'll be with us co-hosting the Prairie Medicinal Harvest Cup.
As well as Redbeard, who hosts a show on Saturday, Redbeard
That's
Glass.
right.
He will be with Saskatoon with us as well.
Live glass blowing. Watch
Live
that going
glass
on with
blowing, yeah.
chat. You can ask questions and learn shit about glass blowing from Redbeard. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really awesome show.
And of course, we can't forget one of my favorite shows right here, Stoner Sundays with Mike Rita.
Mike Rita.
That amazing dude. And we're going to go on September 20th.
September 20th at the Panasonic Theater, the most racist show on earth.
The raciest show on earth, or most racist show on earth. Yeah.
Starring Mr. He won a spot. And,
Yeah.
So we're going to go check that out.
That's going to be a
support
Yahoo
him.
good time.
Before
Look
he,
at
you
this.
know.
Tracy's packing up. She's
Oh
like,
yeah,
I gotta
well,
get the fuck out of
O'Gorman
here.
yell at me if I don't move my ass. Like, you know, I'll hang out.
Hey,
and
I was
wait.
telling stories about O'Gorman at about Puff Jam at Joey's place and him falling out of the bed. That was always made for I was good for laughs at over at the Underground Comedy Club the other night. That
Hey,
was,
I was pretty drunk, dude. I didn't mean
Really?
to.
we talked all about it, dude. Don't worry, everybody knows. Everybody
O'Gorman,
knows.
Well,
I've known you for a very long time. If falling out of the bed is really the craziest story of your weekend.
No, I don't think it was. It was that I fell out of the bed onto Opus's dick that was weird.
That's right.
Exactly.
All
Exactly.
right.
See, was
I
there
took,
video?
he took it
Wait,
dry
you
like a man.
Was there video? Because Opus, I know Opus said he had video.
There is video. He took it dry, just like a man. All right. So, meanwhile, that's what's coming up next. CK Podcast and your host today, Brian O'Gorman, is filling in for Cal Post. And thank you all for joining us here on Opus Live. And good luck. Come back next week and try again to win some marijuana. And until then, cultivate your freedom.
And legalize.
Radio star on MediJean. My life is on film, yet it sucks being me. Sit down! My life's a wreck. I'm bored with sex. I've got a big nose and a skinny neck. I can't sing. I can't dance. I make money, talk about the junk in my underpants. I'm a tortured man. I'm a tortured man. I can't believe I am who I am. I'm a tortured man. I'm a tortured man. I can't believe I am who I am.
Shut up! Sit down!
Baba Booey.
Oh, that's good.
When Terry Hatcher was on my show, she came on to me. I was tempted to go. Heather Locklear, she thinks I'm great. I would bet my life I could get her on the first date. Courtney Love, Madonna, and Sharon Stone. I could get them all together and make each one moan. Tammy, Raquel, Carmen, McCartney, Demi, Abby Demi. I'm a tortured man. I'm a tortured man. I can't believe I am who I am. I live in thoughts. I'm immature. They say I'm great, but I'm not sure. My whole life sucks. Each minute blows. This gangly body, this monstrous nose, this droopy ass, this tiny schween. No wonder I get on the air and act so mean. I wish my life were much more simple. I've got a working the size of a pimple. I'm a tortured man. I'm a tortured man. I can't believe I am who I am.
I trade half my money for 10 times as much sex. It's an equation from hell. It's an equation from hell. It's an equation from hell. It's an equation from hell.